In our last video, we explored how to add brands into Sprinklr. In this video, we learn how to analyze those brands using the benchmarking dashboards. We'll walk through how to read insights about your own brand or a competitor brand, interpret data, and navigate through the different dashboards effectively. Let's get started. In order to access the benchmarking dashboards, you will scroll to the very left and top of your page, open a new tab, scroll down to Sprinklr Insights module, come down to the benchmarking section. The benchmarking dashboard section right here is where you would click into to access all the benchmarking dashboards. You can search dashboards by their name, you can sort, you can look into some settings, you can also change the visibility from a list view to a grid view or vice versa. You can go ahead and look into some settings like hide filters, export data, or a refresh. You can also create a new dashboard. On the very left hand side of your screen, you also have a quick drop down under the benchmarking dashboards, which gives you a stack of all the dashboards that you have within Sprinklr. So you have some favorited dashboards, you have some starter dashboards, which are very interesting dashboards that come right out of the box. They are templates that you can clone and customize to your requirement. You also have some very interesting dashboards like custom dashboards that are shared with you. You also have dashboards that are filtered by different tags. Now, within standard dashboards, we obviously will look into the compare brand performance dashboard, but we also have a lot of dashboards which will allow you to compare the care strategy of brands, compare content strategy of brands, compare the voice of fan of different brands, executive strategy, and so on and so forth. If there is a particular dashboard that you'd like to favorite, you can simply go into the favorite or the star option right against the dashboard name and favorite that dashboard. This would then go ahead and add those dashboards to your favorited section, and you can easily access them. For our learning today, we're going to look into the compare brand performance dashboard. And this now gives me a dashboard which has absolutely no data because I will need to filter it to the right brand and competitor brands. But before I add my filters, I'd like you to understand a quick landscape of this dashboard. We have a date range filter on the very top at the center of the dashboard, which is very important for us because this is what gives you the right data. It's paramount that you always have the right date range selected. It can range from data from today to all the way to a custom date range that you'd like to set up within your dashboard. Now, let's go ahead and mark our date range to, let's say, the last 90 days. And what are we trying to do? We're trying to look into the brand performance of our brand against a competitor brand. So let's go ahead and mark my brand as Lure, the museum that we used as our brand earlier in the video. I apply the filter, and we will mark our competitor brand as the British Museum, which is also the competitor brand we used in our previous video. Now we're good to go. You can add as many filters as you want to. You can compare data from a particular account, from a particular country, or a social network as such, or a language or a media type. You can go ahead and look into the filters and explore this when you have the time. So for now, let's go ahead and understand what is the dashboard really showing us, right? The dashboard not only gives us data as a whole, but it gives us various important sections. The overview section, the content strategy section, the channel strategy, the paid strategy, the digital care strategy, and the voice of fan strategy pages. So this is basically one of those dashboards that gives you an entire or an holistic view of your brand against any competitor brands. You can add as many competitor brands as you want to and benchmark your brand against your competitors. As market researchers, it's important that we understand how our brands perform in terms of our social channels in comparison to our competitors so that we either continue doing what we do or we make some changes in order to make sure we get the kind of reach we're aiming for. So in the last 90 days, we're going to look at how did my brand Lou Museum perform against the British Museum. Let's go ahead and analyze this together. In the overview section, I understand that the most active brand is Lou. The most engaging brand is as well Lou, which is great. Most talked about brand as well is Lou. So Lou is absolutely bagging the first prize here. All the engagement is coming from Lou. I'm also looking into a quick scorecard where I can see the followers of their socials. I can look into the number of messages that have been published in the last 90 days, their engagements, and their average engagement per post. And I can also look, click on the numbers, let's say 125 messages published by the British Museum. And this would go ahead, I can generate a quick summary of exactly what these 125 posts were. I can see all the summary points of what kind of content was published in the last 90 days. And when you scroll down, you can also look into the brand that is most active on social media. It's obviously Louvre, with about 208 messages in the last 90 days. You also have like a quick bulb of information that you can click into, which would give you a summary of all the insights coming for that particular graph. And if you scroll down, you can also see the posts, right? The top posts across the brands. So Louvre, this was their top number one post, and this was the number one post from the British Museum. And you can compare the likes, the comments, the shares, and see how are these two different museums doing in terms of their social media posts and content strategy. And you can scroll down to analyze the top posts by either of the brands, and that gives you a quick insight on their strategy, what kind of content are they publishing, what kind of engagement are they getting, and so on and so forth. Now, moving on to the content strategy section. Again, this is a very interesting section because it gives you sentiments like the theme, the tone, the objectives that the brands looked at and aimed for, and gives you a more deeper understanding of the content that they published, right? You can see different posts that was published by Louvre and understand their theme, the tone, the key objectives of their content, right? You can actually go ahead and analyze what the brand was really aiming for. We also understand the British Museum was looking for, they were looking also at demand generation, and the tone was confident, a little frustrated, which the AIs identified. So that's how you analyze content from the benchmarking dashboard. You can also understand the kind of media type that's getting them the reach, right? So a lot of carousel, second is reels, then comes photos, videos, and links. So this entire section gives you a whole overview of tones, themes, right? What worked, what did not work from a content strat point. Next, we have channel strategy. This is also giving you further insights into what channels did the brands really tap into. Right? We see a lot of Instagram followed by Facebook and then X. So we understand how each of these brands are performing on the different channels. Louvre obviously has like a very proportionate performance across all the three brands, whereas the British Museum is majorly focusing on Facebook and Instagram. Louvre has its presence across X, Instagram, and Facebook quite proportionately. So that gives you further insights on how are both the brands using the different channels and what kind of insights are we getting from there, how are their numbers looking on different channels, and so on and so forth. You also have a section for the paid strategy. This gives you more information on understanding the kind of paid content that brands are looking for, right? How much organic, what kind of promoted posts were there by both the brands. So we understand the most engaging promoted posts, top engaging posts by my brand. So you can also see a quick comparison of organic versus paid. Right, we see Louvre has some organic, some paid, and some organic. British Museum has mostly a lot of organic. So we see that that's a quick difference between the content boosting bit of the brands. How much are they boosting? How much are they publishing organically? gives you a fair understanding of how the brands are looking at their strategy from a paid perspective. You can also go ahead and look into their engagements from a paid standpoint. We understand the British Museum does not boost their content at all. It's all organic, which is good. And Louvre, on the other hand, they do have paid content. And we see the kind of engagement that they've got and the kind of dollars they've been spending, etc. So that's going to give you a quick paid strategy. And then you have your digital care strategy, which is a section that allows you to analyze the response rate of the brands, right? What are the sentiments? How long do they take to respond to their fan messages, right? We see that Louvre has a follower count of 9.54 million, fan messages about 13,000. We're seeing a very low response rate from both the brands. And we can analyze a lot of data. I think we need a little more time duration to fetch more data. But yes, this section gives you a lot of insights on the care strategy of the brands. And finally, we also have voice of fan. So we understand this section where we understand what are the customers happy about or unhappy about with regards to my brand and my competitor brand. Right? We understand the customer sentiment, the trend of all the fan messages. We see that British Museum has about 259 fan messages. Louvre has about 1,000 messages, right? Seeing a quick trend there. So gives you a quick understanding also about the sentiment behind the messages that are on their socials. The British Museum has quite a bit of negative sentimented messages. Louvre has a little bit of negative, but yes. So different sentiments that we can analyze and some quick categories around the sentiments, right? A lot of fraud and scam. The negative sentiment is mostly around fraud and scam, bans and boycott, etc. So this gives you a quick understanding of what customers are feeling, what are the different topics that they've been talking about, where do we need to look into as a brand, what are the different sentiments that customers hold for the brand, and so on and so forth. So this gives you a very good insight about the brand itself, right? With regards to the social performance, be it your own brand or your competitor brands. This brings us to the end of the Compare Brand Performance dashboard. Now let's explore a few legacy dashboards, right? So going back to the very top, clicking on Show Dashboards, the drop down right there. And within the standard dashboards, I come down to the legacy dashboards. So the legacy dashboards is an entire different section which holds 6 different dashboards, right? So the dashboards here give you very, very interesting insights, right? It allows you to dive deeper into specific areas of performance. For example, the content performance dashboard, right? The content performance dashboard helps you understand what type of content performed well, learn which time of the day or day of the week brought the most engagement, see which media type, be it images, videos, text, what worked the best for your brand, and compare content effectiveness across different social channels. So that's like a very important aspect for a brand. So if that's something you're looking for, your content performance dashboard is the one you could go to. And you also have other dashboards like the influencer dashboard, right? The influencers and my brand, which gives you a lot of insights into specific influencer profiles, public figures you want to track, right? You can quickly go ahead and add an influencer brand or add them as a filter and start looking at the content that your influencers are posting about the brand. So you understand top keywords and engagement metrics like the kind of number of likes coming in for their posts, the shares coming in from their posts, right? You understand a lot of you get a good understanding of how your influencers are performing in terms of their content. So these legacy dashboards, like I said, give you various insights, right? Be it your own brand, like care strategy, or your paid post strategy, right? Or you just want to know influences and understand some industry insights. All of these very niche specific topics are addressed on the legacy dashboards. And these dashboards are great for zooming in on who is driving your brand visibility and how their content resonates with different audience, right? So legacy dashboards really help you understand specific areas within the benchmarking module. So now this is how you go ahead and navigate through dashboards, understand different sections, look into data from different aspects of benchmarking, be it your content performance dashboard, your care strategy dashboards, or your legacy dashboards. All these dashboards give you something new, give you a lot more understanding of your brand performance. And this is how we would go ahead, and we can also go back to our homepage and just simply look down and see all the dashboards that are there, right? So this is how you navigate dashboards. And that brings us to the end of our walkthrough. We explored how to navigate benchmarking and some legacy dashboards. We learned how to apply filters, compare your brand with competitor brands, analyze performance across content, customer care, paid strategy, and influencer impact. Also, remember, these dashboards are powerful tools that can guide smarter decisions, help you spot opportunities, and strengthen your brand strategy. So, make sure you dive into these dashboards, explore them, and get a hand on all of these dashboards and make the best of your time on Sprinklr benchmarking. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you on the next one.